My boyfriend just yelled yeah and very loudly in the middle of Toys R Us because he won a stuffed animal from a claw machine. What embarrassing things have your significant others done in public? My boyfriend likes to hide from me in public places if I'm not paying attention. It usually ends up with me talking to myself in grocery stores and entering restaurants and quickly leaving to go on a search. When asked by the waitress at an Italian restaurant if we wanted dessert, my girlfriend told her number. He doesn't let me have dessert. He says I'm fat. I swear I would have been killed by the waitress if my GF hadn't said she was joking. This made me giggle. My ex and I were at the mall picking up a few things, including some bras for me. In the middle of Victoria's Secret, he picks up a V-string, the panties with the little triangle in the back above the flossy part, puts it on his head, triangle over his eye, and proceeds to chase me around the store yelling, "Ugh, I'm a pirate. Hand over your booty." In a way it was sort of funny, but at the time I was mortified. When I was 18, my very short-term boyfriend at the time threw an unopened 6-pack of glass soda bottles in the middle of the grocery store parking lot, and as they shattered, yelled "Frick the police." Smoke weed every day. Dating him was sort of like having someone read me YouTube comments at various volumes, and then occasionally break stuff while doing so. I laughed pretty hard at read me YouTube comments. Sounds accurate from what he yelled. For some reason, my boyfriend years ago carried all of his papers and whatnot around in a brown paper grocery bag. One morning, he had a job interview and he stayed over at my house the night before so I could help him get ready to go in the morning. When I got home from work the night, I found him there, sobbing. He told me that when he left the house, instead of grabbing his brown paper grocery bag with his belongings, he grabbed the brown paper grocery bag that I used for the garbage receptacle in my bedroom. He was all dressed up, got on the bus to go to the interview, but accidentally got on the express instead of the local and overshot the interview location by about 6 miles. He was stranded, missed the interview and had to wait a long time for the next bus going back home. While he was waiting, he realized that he was carrying a bag of garbage instead of everything he needed for the day. He got on the bus home, still carrying the bag of garbage, now in tears, and walked back to my house. He switched the bag of garbage from one arm to the other and felt something at the bottom. He lifted the bag up, looked at the bottom, and to his horror, a used condom had soaked through the bottom of the bag and had been hanging out of it the entire time he was on the bus. TDLR. Boyfriend traveled the city all day, crying, carrying a brown paper grocery bag full of garbage with a used condom hanging off the bottom of it. This should be on a TV show. I feel bad for him, but I'm laughing too hard. One time my girlfriend was looking at a box that sort of resembles a small treasure chest or coffer at some furniture store. There were several other shoppers nearby when she asked me if I liked it. My response was an enthusiastic, "Yeah, you can keep your dildo in there." She got really quiet, but she ended up buying it. She keeps her dildo in there now. I got a good double laugh out of that one. Thanks. My boyfriend at the time, my brother and I were eating at McDonald's one day. As we were getting ready to leave, I decided to refill my soda cup when, out of nowhere, my boyfriend screams and points at me shouting, "Soda thief." I was embarrassed beyond speech. Everybody got quiet and stared at me as the soda was overpouring out of the cup. The McDonald's people didn't know how to react because there is nothing illegal about getting a refill, but at the same time they looked outraged at my actions. My friend was out of money when we were at McDonald's and he wanted a drink, so he got a ketchup cup and stood at the machine drinking multiple shots of pop. Everyone in the McDonald's just stared at him. My favorite was the time we went to P.F. Chang's for dinner. There were 2 teenage girl hostesses at the front and I proceeded to ask them if Mr. Chang was in this evening because I would like to say hello. They looked at me like I was nuts and my wife just goes, "God damn it." I was entertained, at least. That could have backfired. There were probably several Changs there. One time I was having dinner with some friends and they had a black African Christian missionary over for dinner and he was telling us about his life and studies in Africa. He got his laptop out and was showing us some photos of home. One of the pictures had a giraffe in it, and for some unknown reason the word "suppen" slipped out of my mouth. I could not put the words back in. We all acted like it never happened. You shoulda been like, no man, it's cool. I have a lot of friends that are giraffes. Halloween party at a nightclub. My boyfriend is drunk as crap. Goes to the middle of the dance floor and yells, Popeye's nipples are hard. Who wants to touch while he is rubbing them? Your username is relevant. My boyfriend and I were at a chowder festival with a group of friends. We stopped by the Ben & Jerry's, which was absolutely jam-packed with people. As we go to sit down with our chowder-themed ice cream, my boyfriend says very loudly, "Holy crap, guys, check out that kid's shoes." Now to give my boyfriend credit, he is not in butthole, he is just an idiot. Some 3 to 5 year old kid was walking by with his dad and had crazy 5-inch heel shoes on. My boyfriend realized his mistake when the kid turned and you could see that he really only had one cool shoe. One of his legs was half a foot shorter than the other. My man actually thought the kid had these cool, tall-heeled shoes on. He was embarrassed. The whole dang store was looking at him and I just wanted to smother the poor idiot. He could have pulled it off with a cool dude. Your shoe is so cool and given the kid a high five. Saying very loudly, they don't have any dong rings here in the middle of Walmart and next to an employee who walked away, shaking his head and chuckling to himself. I was laughing and mortified at the same time. We weren't even looking for dong rings. Not my story but a dear friend's. The girl had this very old dog that required diapers because it would randomly crap everywhere. So, one evening the couple went to the drugstore to purchase adult diapers for the dog. The place was empty and at the cash register it was the couple in question and the cashier ringing up their diapers. In the heat of the silent awkwardness the guy looks the cashier in the eyes and says they're for her. As a former cashier, thank you for making the cashier's night, and his manager's night, too. My boyfriend will grab my bum constantly trying to get me to react. Most of the time it ends up being me trying to stifle laughter while checking out, ordering food, etc. He also sings and dances in the aisles at stores. My favorite though is probably when I'm walking behind him and he knows I'm not paying attention so he'll stop short and I'll walk into him with an oof. He's twice my size and it's like walking into a wall, haha. My best friend does the butt grab thing whenever I'm checking out, ordering food, or talking to somebody. We're both guys. Another fun story about the same guy. We're at a gas station and I'm up at the counter checking out. He then walks up to me and basically yells, "Hey, they're out of condoms so I guess I can't frick you tonight," and just walks away like nothing happened. I was visiting my new girlfriend at the hospital when she asks, "Do you want to hear a secret?" I found it a bit odd that she had asked so openly since there were nurses and other patients around, but because I wanted to get to know her more I said, "Okay, shoot, I'm all ears." I farted, and then the smell. Good thing you were all ears. Took my very white mom to a soul food restaurant. She said, "You go girl," to the very black server. The whole place fell silent. Yesterday in the kitchen I start talking to my girlfriend about the great BJ she gave me earlier. She shhhhhhhs me and I then say very loudly to where my mother in the other room can hear, "Thank you girlfriend for all the awesome sex. I love you." My mother yells back, "Thank God she gives you good sex instead of bad." My girlfriend was brighter than a cherry. My ex once asked a French man if he was talking weird to seem stupid. Also, we were in a park one time when she grabbed my arm and shouted, "Oh my god, look, that bee is giving birth." My ex once asked a French man if he was talking weird to seem stupid. "You sound like a dog with peanut butter on the roof of your mouth." When I was in high school, my boyfriend had really bad acne. We were at the mall and I stopped in a clothing store to shop around. When I was looking at a rack of jeans I look over and see him standing inches away from one of those floor-length pillar mirrors, squeezing pimples on his forehead. I don't embarrass easily, and it wouldn't have been so bad if there weren't a bunch of women standing by watching him in disgust. This may or may not have been something I have done. Younger me grosses out older me. I go out of my way to embarrass my girlfriend. My favorite is doing weird dances at grocery stores. It makes her walk ahead of me and pretend she doesn't know me. It's funny, at least to me. My grandma used to pretend she was mentally handicapped in the grocery store with my grandpa. My wife used to enjoy acting, special in public. She would pull her sleeve down over her hand and sort of perch her arm up while resting her head on her shoulder and just looking very out of it. When people started to look at her, she would rub up against me and make me look like a predator or something. She would sometimes stutter and ask me weird crap while they were in earshot. She was very convincing and I had to have a serious talk with her about not doing it anymore. It freaked me the heck out. Other than that, she would just yell stuff out loud in public like "I won't let you put it in my butt in Publix" or other stupid stuff like that. She sounded hilarious or freaking crazy. Me and my girlfriend were both 19 at the time in college. My friend was throwing a keg party and we both went with our other mutual friend who was 21 to help pick up the keg at the liquor store. Us three were waiting at the counter while our older friend was filling out paperwork for the deposit. My girlfriend turns to me and says loudly, "I can't wait till we are 21 and can buy our own alcohol." She immediately realized what she just said as the whole store turned to her and shook their heads. She just quietly said, "So I guess I'll be going now," and bolted out of the store. We still got the keg though. We went to a karaoke night at a pub for my cousin's 17th birthday. She got up and sang ABBA's Dancing Queen. When she got to the parts that says Dancing Queen, only 17, we all kept drunkenly screaming "That's you tomorrow." The landlord was not impressed but had already served alcohol to us underage. When we're holding hands while we're walking in a more crowded part of the city, he'll loudly say something like, "Yes, honey, I know you love sex with tentacles, but I'm just not into that kind of thing. I love this man. But your username." My husband used to fart in public all the time, especially in grocery store aisles. I'd lose track of where he was and would find him in a random aisle. I'd cart over to him, often missing him as he made a clean getaway, and I would get trapped in his fart cloud. By the time someone else walked down the aisle, he was gone and I'd get the weird "did you just fart" look. It took quite some time to get him to cut it out. Ah yes, crop dusting. Well, I am the embarrassing significant other. In a crowded place, when my girlfriend attempted to hold my hand, I would scream "Who are you?" and walk away as if I was violated. Needless to say, she's my current ex. Won't be too funny when you are doing this at 95. Not my significant other, but my mother and I were in the dairy section of our local Stater Bros picking up the ingredients for enchiladas when she yelled at me, "Don't forget to pick up some cheese for the Mexican." I yelled back to her, "Mom, can't you just call him the gardener?" That's not embarrassing. That's straight up comic genius. I think I'm the embarrassing one. Last week, my boyfriend took me out from dinner. He decided to meet me at my class because it was right next to the restaurant. When I saw him, I waved and called out my pet name for him. Apparently it's not normal to call your boyfriend Leverbet in public. Who knew? I think I'm the embarrassing one. That is a safe assumption to make. My boyfriend pretended to throw a temper tantrum in the middle of the supermarket. He even threw himself on the ground, flailed and referred to me as "Mom," shouted about candy and such the whole time until I agreed to buy whatever it was he wanted. I have never wanted to murder him more. Once in Target with my boyfriend, he suddenly pulled over and farted quite loudly without realizing there was a man right behind him. I stared on in shock as the guy turned in disgust. I informed him of his audience. He scampered quickly out of there while I had tears running down my face from laughing so hard. It was awesome. We're married now. Pull over. Fart in the audience. General diarrheation. Get married. I think got it. My sister's story. She's arguing with her BF about what movie to watch. He raises his hands to emphasize a point. Noticing that two old ladies are walking by, she yells, "No, not in public," while shielding her face. Old ladies give the dirtiest looks to the BF while my sis tries her hardest to hold in the lulls. When inside a CVS or general store, I like to go to the romance book section, open up a novel with Fabio on the cover and start reading a random page out loud. My boyfriend couldn't be more mortified. Bonus points if confused elders walk by. I usually grab something long and round and wave it around, making lightsaber sounds while out shopping. My fiancée just shakes her head and walks away. She gets mad though when I accidentally hit strangers with it though. So, last night at the store, Someone freaking hit me in the arm last night with a plunger handle. They were swinging while making lightsaber sounds. If you're in Northern California and grocery shopping around midnight last night, I challenge you to a goddamn duel in aisle 6 at Walmart. It wasn't with a significant other but with one of my best friends. She thought she would embarrass me by making me come with her to the pharmacy to get her birth control. I don't get embarrassed easily, so that crap bounced off me like a bullet on Superman. Then she decided to walk me down the tampon aisle to try again. I stopped and looked at all the tampons. She kept walking, so I yelled out to her, "Hey, I have a really heavy flow. What kind of tampon should I get?" She started walking faster to get away from me. I like to high five strangers for no reason. It doesn't seem that embarrassing for your significant other until you actually try it. The weirder the person, the better. Well, I'm usually doing the embarrassing things, so I'll share my favorite thing I did. LOL. I was at Walmart with my ex. She was shopping for a person some makeup. Long story short, she took entirely too long, so I say I'll be back in a little bit. I decide to go straight to the toy section and get a Captain America mask and shield and a Thor hammer and be a superhero for her. I run back to the front of the store and find her and start saying cheesy one-liners like, "Fear not, my lady, I have come to save you from the ever boring task of shopping," or "Watch out, madam, that is ugly," whenever she picked something up. I didn't get to come with her to Walmart ever again for the duration of that relationship. That wasn't worth deleting an account for. My dumb ex-boyfriend would say, "Okay babe, time to kiss and fly," when I dropped him off at work. I hadn't quite mustered up the courage to say "I love you, but you sound like an butthole." At an exclusive business conference in a room full of up-and-coming movers and shakers, mainly dudes, my girlfriend loudly addresses the entire crowd with, "Later, F. I'm going to go get laid," and then she took me by the arm, dragged me outside, and off and away in a taxi she hailed down. TLDR, I had sex. It would have been more hilarious if you had pretended to struggle. 1. Walk into Asian market. 2. See the Asian writing on the packaging. 3. Forget where you are. 4. Loudly ask hero at the package while laughing. 5. Oh my god, JPG. My boyfriend was saying goodbye to me in front of a bunch of people. He was leaning in to give me a goodnight kiss, but last minute he stopped and licked my cheek and said that's how lions say "I love you." Whenever he has an impressive fart, he insists that we name it, like the Thunderdome or the Whispering Death. And lastly, at least off the top of my head, if I take more than about a minute going to the bathroom, he calls me out no matter who we are with and says, "How was your dump?" Also, yelling out "yen" sounds exactly like something he would do. My boyfriend shouted erotica at the top of his lungs because I chided him for saying the word aloud in a public place. He likes to embarrass me. My girlfriend does this weird thing where she doesn't exist. It's really embarrassing when we go to the movies or out to eat. We were in a Costco parking lot. My BF was pushing a cart full of groceries and things over to our car. Instead of turning down the aisle where our car was parked, he walks straight. I asked him where he was going and he just says, "Hold on, let me see something." He proceeds to push the cart past the edge of the parking lot, past the line that says the special cart's wheels will lock once you pass it. The wheels locked and he wasn't able to properly push the cart back to our car. I asked him what he thought was going to happen and he said he just wanted to see. Ridiculous. What did he think was going to happen? The life of a shopping cart homeless guy was calling him. It's very hard to deny that urge, sometimes. I used to fart on my ex-girlfriend when we went grocery shopping together. It'd make it extremely obvious too. Occasionally I'd eat Chipotle beforehand for more ammo. She thought I would do it just to be a jerk, but I actually did it to make sure things moved along at timely pace. This is genius. Girlfriend liked walking over subway grates for the updraft and having a Marilyn moment. It mortified me for some reason. So once when a draft hit and her skirt came up, I instinctively slapped her butt to keep the skirt down. Worse was the time I did it to the front. Apparently that's looked down upon by women outside of Brazzers. Well, this was just my friend when we were at Wendy's playing cards. One of the workers comes to ask us what game we were playing, and just as she was leaving, No more than 2 feet away, when we are about to start playing again, my friend yells and I never go down. The worker was a black lady. Somehow she didn't hear or did but decided to ignore it. Dodge a bullet there. 0.6 meters. I was in Target the other day with my boyfriend and I had to run down one of the main aisles to catch up to him. I'm 5.4, he's 6.4. So I grabbed his hand because he said it reminded him to walk slower. Then he proceeded to old school pimp walk with me, towing him along. He's a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, skinny guy. All those physical details really helped me understand your post better. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.